another day, another episode of The Upgrade. I am Gary Muttley, and he is the one and only
Len Carmichael, Landmine Studios. What's going on, Gary?
Well, listen, they did find signs of potential life on Venus, so maybe they'll come and get us.
I'm ready. Come get me.
Or you know, the whole "take me to your leader." That's him. Zap him.
Get him. Just
get him. He said a lot of shit about you. He said you were a loser.
A loser.
Those losers from Venus.
So
suckers.
To go down that rabbit hole, let's just peek in the rabbit hole for 1 second. The fact that they think that they see life or the potential for life in and around Venus, it's so close to the fucking sun, bro. Like, anything that can live there probably can't live here, and we can't go there. So then what?
I don't disagree with you, and I have very strong feelings about this, being the sci-fi nerd that I am, and having seen a lot of movies about shit like this, I've formed, concrete opinions.
Well, all right. The pressure on planet Venus, if you get to the surface, is such that it crushes and then melts any metallic object that gets there. It's right. Like being at the bottom of our ocean. That is the pounds per inch of pressure that is exerted on any object that exists there. Whereas here, it's like 14.7 pounds per square inch of pressure, and that's if you're at like ocean level, and obviously it's a little less or a little bit more depending on where you're at, but on average.
Well, first of all, I think you're barking up the right tree when you mention that they probably wouldn't be able to survive here and vice versa.
Whatever it is.
One of the things that a lot of people don't realize, and there's been a lot of research about it, but not a lot of discussion because there needs to be more research, is a lot of these places, like you talk about the deep ocean, a lot of these places, they found life in places where it's not supposed to exist.
Yep, they didn't expect it there.
In like springs under volcanoes, where the heat, in theory, should kill everything.
But it doesn't.
Or sub-zero, like under the ice in Antarctica.
It's called stuff adaptation.
Right. And so the idea that life would exist in these different places, and listen, they've done a lot of exploration of the deep sea, but not nearly as much as they could because, there are obviously limitations.
Yep. And,
technology is advancing to the point where maybe eventually they might be able to go and explore that more. And then they'll find the spaceships under there.
Or they're going to find a whole society under there.
Yeah. Well, they'll find Atlantis. They'll find, the spaceship from the Abyss. And they'll find some other things. But, the truth is, sure, it's very possible that there's life there. Does it mean that it's intelligent life?
No.
Who knows?
It doesn't.
Probably not.
Alien life is alien life. If it's not terrestrial to to Earth, then it's alien. Because it's not from where we are. And alien is just the concept of things that are not of. It doesn't matter what it is, whether it's quote unquote intelligent or microorganisms. We don't know what it is.
Right. Well, it's the same kind of distinction like people talk about UFOs. It's like, okay, a UFO isn't necessarily an alien, but that's we could do a whole other episode about that.
But to where I was going with it is that anybody who believes that we are the only planet or location that sustains life in this vast universe is fucking insane.
I agree.
That's all I have to say about it. You must be out of your fucking mind. You think that we as a whole are the only things that matter. And then when you come down to it, you're telling me that because you're white and I'm black, or you're Hispanic and he's Asian, that we have to hate each other. They're like, we are literally the same species.
Yeah, I mean, strictly mathematically, it's not possible.
Right. It's just virtually impossible.
We can't even measure how big the universe is. So what are the chances that in this entire universe there's only one? Doesn't make it doesn't compute.
No
just mathematically doesn't compute.
Well, God created Earth, and it's So
don't
Gary, just relax. You need to just relax and understand that Jesus was made in our in the image of we're made in the image of Jesus, and God really just only cares about us here. Okay, you need to take that and think about that, sir.
Says he built the Earth in 7 days, not a universe. You talking about? There ain't no universe. He built the Earth. It says the Earth.
Those are just painted dots in the sky. Oh God!
Universe take a lot more time. He ain't building no universe.
And really did put together a boat with two of every animal. Like, okay, bud.
And while we're on the subject, and I won't get deep into it, but I'll just throw out one thing. I fully subscribe by the theory that was posed by Marvel Comics, which is that the reason why we haven't had real contact with aliens,
it's because they think we're fucking dumb,
is because they think that, not that we're dumb, but they think we're fucking crazy. Because in Marvel Comics, there's basically an edict around with other worlds where they say, yeah, we ain't fucking with those Earthlings because they're out of their fucking tits. And I could totally see it. And the proof of that, by the way, is that a lot of these UFO sightings have involved areas where nuclear weapons were involved. So they probably saw that shit and were like, yeah,
we need to shut this shit down right now.
These motherfuckers are crazy. So let's just not even fuck with them. So I strongly subscribe by that theory. Thank you, Marvel Comics. I think you're on to something.
You know what I'm on to?
What are you on to, Len?
I am on to Lovecraft Country.
Oh, shit. That's... How many episodes are you trying to do tonight, man?
Let's just... We can couch it. I'm going to leave this into the thing, but we're going to talk about Lovecraft Country once it's over. I don't want to talk about it now, but I'm just telling you, I am into this show 100%. Looking forward. We're going to do a whole episode just on that whole show, but only when it's over.
That shit is wild.
Yes, it is.
Wild.
And let me just tell you right now, Letty is absurdly attractive. Let me just say that straight out.
She's a real spitfire, that one.
Yeah. And it's funny that her brother is the one that Jussie Smollett.
I know. I was having that conversation last night because my girlfriend hadn't watched it at all.
Right.
I had already watched it, but I watched with her the episodes again yesterday.
Okay.
Which I would strongly suggest once the series is over,
watch it all at once.
Watch it all again, because there's so many little things that go from one episode to another.
Yep.
That I caught yesterday that I didn't catch. Like, you can only catch it if you're watching them one right after the other, really, or close enough that you can retain everything.
Bro, last night's episode was fucking insane.
You know what? Every episode is insane because
they keep topping.
But yeah,
I was just like, what?
Yeah, that last one was next level because that was just, whew, like I can't even.
Not to spoil this for anybody watching, but that final transformation that we got to see at the end, right at the end of the episode, I could see that coming when we were when early in the episode. I knew that there was going to be a reveal around that, and I just wasn't sure what the reveal was specifically going to be. then, like, as I was listening to the conversation and the transformation was happening, I was like, I know what's going on right
Yeah.
now. Because I was like, I got you. Like,
I picked up on it also. I picked up on it also, but it was wild.
Yeah, like, this is a show where you have to pay attention to every detail, all of it.
That's what I was saying last night, because you know how everybody is. It's like you watch something, but like you check your phone and you do this and that.
You can't do that.
And I'm telling her, I'm like,
put your
from
phone
now,
down.
There's like 10 minutes left in the episode, and I told her, from now until it's done, don't fucking blink.
Yep, watch it all.
And she starts to look away, and I tap her. I'm like, no,
you got
and shit is going down, and she's just looking at it like, what the fuck? And I'm like,
yeah,
exactly.
Like, there are shows out there where I can just watch them out of the corner of my eye. So I'm watching Better Call Saul right now. Finally, I started it recently, and it took me 3 times to get through the first season. And what I mean by 3 times is I've started it and stopped it 3 different times.
Right.
And I finally got past the 4th episode this time. And once I got over the threshold, it's just been a fucking race downhill to me catching up. But I don't need to watch the whole thing because you can hear it. It's not a show that requires your explicit attention to every detail on the screen, because it's a dialogue show.
Right.
Lovecraft Country is a dialogue show and detail show.
Yeah.
You have to watch you have to watch it.
You have to watch it closely.
It's like, did you see Hereditary?
I don't know. Let me check it, because I think I saw it. No, you know what? I didn't.
For me, of the last 20 years, it is one of the greatest suspense movies that incorporates mild horror attributes to be made. And the reason being is that the cinematography on it is just absolutely amazing. The story's real good until right at the end. I feel like they dropped the ball at the end, but I think there's like 45 minutes of unseen footage that would tie it all together.
Right.
But they had to cut it down for the theatrical release. I'm looking forward to, like, in like 5 years, whenever they put out a here's everything you missed version, all cut together the way the director's cut or whatever. I'm looking forward to a director's cut. But the acting and just all the small details that, if you're paying attention through the whole movie like you would be if you're stuck in a theater, because I saw it in the theater, so you're not really checking your phone in the theater unless you want to be that fucking dickhead in the theater with their phone on. Like, that
dickhead that gets something hitting him in the back of the head.
Right. And I don't do that when I go to the movie theater. I'm in the movie. So, I watched it in a location which forced me to pay attention to every detail on the screen.
Right.
And if you watch that movie, you pick up on things, and then you start to try and piece it together yourself, and then they give you a little jerk and a little twist and a little this, and then by the time you get to like some of these payoff scenes in the movie, you're like, holy fuck. And that's how I feel about Lovecraft Country. If you're paying attention the whole time, every time that there's a twist, you are thrown, because your mind has already taken you in a direction that it may not end up at.
Oh yeah, it's a crazy show.
I don't want to go into an episode breakdown, because I want to save that for a show for, let's just say now, whenever it ends. I don't know when the last episode is scheduled for. The week after that, I want to do a wrap-up show.
I'm down for sure, because one of the things that's crazy, and we won't get into revealing any of the content or even getting too deep into it, is that it almost feels in a way like an anthology show. Mm-hmm. The different episodes have a different feel to them.
Yeah.
And tell a different story, but it all ties together.
Yeah, it's one big story, but they're just telling different chapters in whatever ways that make it work.
And by the way, there's 10 episodes.
So we're 5 in now.
So the date for the last episode is October 18th.
October 18th. Okay. So then the week
something
after
changes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So unless something gets delayed or something, episode 10 is scheduled for October 18th.
All right. Then deal. It's a date, boy. We're going to talk about this shit because
I'm down.
There's been few shows that have made me want to really discuss it in length. Like if I had watched Watchmen on time, like I watched it late. I didn't watch it until this past summer. But if I had watched it originally, I would have wanted to talk about every single episode.
I'll do that now. I don't give a fuck. Because I love that show.
Yeah, that show was sick.
As a diehard fan of the Watchmen comic book, I really enjoyed the movie. Mm-hmm. And then you have the TV show, which is a sequel not to the movie, but to the original comic book, which threw a lot of people off. I enjoyed both. I understand why they made changes that they made in the movie, and the way they told the story and tied in so many things from the original comic, I thought was great. It went in a really different direction from the way I thought it was going to go.
Yo, can we just talk about how Regina King, in my mind, is always the daughter from 227 in the 80s. Like, anytime I see her, that's all I think about. But then she's been in a number of things that I've just absolutely loved, and she fucking killed it in this fucking show.
I'm laughing, by the way, because not to spoil anything, but if you caught it on Lovecraft Country this week,
she makes an appearance, right?
Not her. Somebody else, but from that era, she was on.
Oh yeah. You're right. Yeah, I did see it.
She was on a different world.
Yes. Yep.
So that's why I'm laughing, because it's like that same era of TV. It's like a different person pops up. It's like these people are still in the business.
So, just looking at Regina King's work, she was in Boys in the Hood, Poetic Justice, Friday, Higher Learning, then Living Single. She was on 227, as I mentioned, but that was her actual start. Like, she hadn't acted in anything before that. So that's 85 to 90. Then, Boys in the Hood, Poetic Justice. She's on Northern Exposure, and actually the episode she's on is the one that my cousin was the executive producer for.
Oh,
so
wow.
I guess she pulled her in for that because they, I guess, know each other. She's in Higher Learning, which was an absolutely ridiculous but fun movie. Friday, Jerry Maguire. Like, I mean, she's been in all these fucking movies across this time.
Don't forget about my personal favorite. Which
one? Daddy Daycare?
She was the voices of Riley and Huey on the Boondocks.
Okay. Oh, I'm still rolling through her list, but I loved her in 24 because she played Sonia Palmer in that.
Yep, I remember that.
And we're talking like this is 85. She's 35 years in my mental life as a human, as an entity that acts, and she's still putting out top quality fucking work.
She's still putting in that work, and listen, she's only a couple years older than me.
Yeah, how old is she? She was born in 71, and what are you, born in 73?
I was born in 73.
Okay, so she's 2 years older than you.
Yeah.
And she's 5 years older than me. And literally, for most of my life, I've known who she is.
And I wasn't even that... Like, I kind of knew, but I didn't realize how much of it she did. She's done a good amount of directing also.
Let's see. I'm actually not aware of specific things she directed.
I'm looking at Wikipedia. Well, she's done a couple of music videos, which is funny. But yeah, she's done episodes of
TV shows like Shameless.
A bunch of different TV shows.
You know what? I love Shameless as a show. I don't like. It sucks without Fiona, but
I I couldn't get it after I gave it a shot for the first season and just quit.
I got into it. It was fun, but it is what it is.
I just hate everybody.
So
I guess maybe the gimmick of the show.
yeah, that is actually the gimmick of the show.
Yeah.
One of the things that probably went under your radar of things that she worked on that or acted in that you probably should go back and see. It's called 7 Seconds, and it's on like Netflix, I think. And basically, she plays a mother of a kid who gets run over by a cop in riding his bike in the middle of the park. The cop was like on drugs or high or, just made a bad mistake, ran the kid over, and then blamed it on gang members instead of like taking the rap. And she spends the entire season tracking it down and making him pay for it.
That's completely not topical to anything we've discussed in this episode.
Not at all. And I didn't intentionally tie that back in, but as we work this back, it takes on the theory of the corrupt cop and planted evidence and etc. It's honestly a really good show, but what carries the show is her acting.
Yeah, it's definitely on Netflix.
So if you got, 10 episodes worth of time to kill while you're sitting around your house doing whatever, jerking your dick, watch the show. While watching the show.
Yeah, this will definitely count towards my attempting to get the achievement that I've completed Netflix. So
at one point, I feel like I could have done that, but now there's just too much trash on there that I refuse to watch.
That is true. I was looking recently, and there were a bunch of things on there. It's like, nope.
Oh, shit, that's right. She was in The Leftovers, too. Did you watch The Leftovers?
I feel like if I didn't watch it, it's on my list. Is that the one with...
So something took a bunch of people out of a neighborhood or an area.
You know what?
And it's all the leftover people who didn't get taken trying to figure out what happened.
That's on my list. I have not watched it, but I kind of have a fear of watching it. Well, this is a real thing. I have a fear of watching it because once upon a time I bought a book.
Okay.
And I didn't know anything about the book. I just saw it for like $2 or something somewhere. And I bought the book and I started to read it and it was great. And then I realized that like it was one of these things where like a lot of people disappear, similar to this.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, and then there's people talking about like, oh, it's the rapture, and I'm waiting for the payoff. And then I realized that like it's a religious book and there is no payoff.
Mm.
So, and I'm like, oh, shit.
I'm going to say that I watched 75% of The Leftovers, and I didn't finish it. But I do remember enjoying her character in the show.
Yeah, I have it on my list. It's one of those things that I want to watch, but if I know for sure that it doesn't have a religious thing to it, then I'll probably be more inclined to watch it.
See, I'm still okay with watching some religious nonsense bullshit as long as they're not trying to force, like, mind meld me into being interested in their religion, which they still would never win anyway because there's no fucking way. But, I just can't have it be on the nose.
Right. Yeah, I just, there's another one of those things. It's like I would hate to find out that it's actually the rapture. It's like, oh, damn.
I think that's actually what the point of the whole thing is. Side note, I was watching Spaceballs, and I got always a classic. And meanwhile, I've been watching like a bunch of different things over the course of just the quarantine or whatever the fuck is going on right now. What is it that's going on right now?
Pandemic TV.
Pandemic TV. So
you watch a lot of shit that you might not normally watch, but it's like, well, fuck it, I need something.
So I've been also watching this show called The Sinner, which is on like USA Network or something like that.
Okay.
And there's like three seasons of it, and the main character is Harry Ambrose, and he plays a cop, but he's more of a detective. And in the first season, Jessica Biel is in it, and she murders somebody, but she can't remember why she murdered the person. So they spend a long time digging up the reason, and then at the end they show the payoff.
Right.
And then the second season is some weird jerked off thing about commune and like people that live. It's kind of like Midsummer movie where they live in a commune and they like kind of all feed off of each other, and there's like one leader, and it's kind of like a sex cult and this, that, and the other thing. And then the last season is about these two other people that have almost no connection to any other piece. It's basically he just keeps jumping around as a detective, but the guy who plays Harry Ambrose is Bill Pullman. I'm watching him as Bill Pullman in The Sinner, not thinking about Spaceballs. So he has been able to like traverse and pull himself out of my thought of him in Spaceballs, which is my first introduction to Bill Pullman as a kid.
Right.
And I'm watching Spaceballs, and he says something. I'm like, that's Harry Ambrose. Like, I had never.
It only just clicked.
It all just clicked while
Wow.
I'm sitting on my couch on, I guess it was Saturday night or whatever. And I'm like, fuck, I've been watching this guy my whole goddamn life. So that's me tying the two just time frames of like, there are people that I've literally been watching for 30 plus years, and they continue to impress me with their acting ability.
I had a similar thing happen to me because over the weekend, looking for something to watch, my girlfriend had never seen Donnie Brasco.
Ah, jeez.
So we put that on, and I haven't watched it in years. I couldn't tell you the last time I watched it.
Right.
But I'm watching it, and there's all these faces that pop up, that all these actors that have been in other shit, and it's like I forgot they were in this. Like
so Al
like when
Pacino and Johnny Depp's in it.
you got Al Pacino and Johnny Depp, but like even just little parts, like when they go to the room at one point and they a bunch of the FBI guys are doing the listening.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, two of the FBI guys. One of them is Paul Giamatti, and the other one is what's his name from Watchmen?
Tim Blake Nelson.
Who's been in obviously a ton of other shit also. But it's just like those guys pop up at random, and like a bunch of other guys pop up at random, and I'm like, oh hey, I forgot he's in this, or like either I forgot or just didn't realize.
Like, yeah, I mean, at the time you may not have realized it.
Yeah, it's just funny to watch it after not seeing it for so many years, and it's like all these faces pop up. It's really funny.
Well, Michael Madsen was in it, and
yeah, well, him I knew,
but you only know him because of fucking Tarantino. Like, without Tarantino, I don't know Michael Madsen, but the way that I know him.
I mean, he did other shit too.
Okay, but you go to his IMDb, and 3 of his top 4 pictures are Tarantino movies. He was in
of course.
Hateful Eight, Kill Bill, and Reservoir Dogs, and I think he might have had a moment in as well Pulp Fiction and 1 or 2 of the other ones. But like, you look through his list, and it's all B movies. Like, sure, he was in Sin City, but he was in Sin City for like 10 seconds.
Oh yeah.
Count. I mean, it counts, but it don't count. But his list is it's not Samuel L. Jackson long, but it's long because he just acts in whatever is offered to him.
Right. Yeah, but Reservoir Dogs, Thelma and Louise.
Yeah.
Shit like that.
But like, looking back,
of course, me being the nerd that I am, Tony from Grand Theft Auto 3.
See, I've never played that. I will tell you right off the bat, I have never played that.
It was That was the reason I bought a PlayStation 2. I put it off, and then when Grand Theft Auto was out, I was like, I gotta do it, and then it was all downhill from there.
I still want Kill Bill Volume 3. I still want it. I don't care if, Uma Thurman refuses to come and do it. Like, if
I feel weird about it because I don't think we need it.
I don't know. I feel like the story could easily be Vernita's daughter exacting her revenge.
I don't know. I don't think we need it. Just like when they announced, Watchmen, that's it. There's not going to be a second season.
Yeah, but at that time, that one ties up good for me.
I agree. And to me, I feel the same way about Kill Bill.
I mean, it's okay that it's over, but if it was announced that the third one that has already been in planning for many years was actually coming, I would be just as stoked, because I literally have seen every Tarantino movie and most in the theater.
Right.
I enjoy his brand of storytelling, regardless of what kind of an asshole he probably actually is.
Well, listen, a lot of those people are assholes. A lot of our favorite musicians are assholes.
Don't meet your whatever you do. Don't go and meet the people that you idolize in any way. It's going to let you down. Just leave them be where they are, because it's just not going to make you happy later.
It's not worth it. Very, very risky.
It's just not going to be a good plan for you.
Strange Tarantino thing, by the way, is that there was a serious effort, and I think it's dead at this point, but there was a real serious effort. He really wanted to do a Star Trek movie.
Oh, God, no. I don't want him to do that.
And I just don't see how, that's such a style clash.
Yeah, it doesn't.
I just don't see how that could work.
No, not at all. The other movie that I want to see is the Vega Brothers movie. So, Vic Vega and Vincent Vega, because it was supposed to be a movie about the two of them. So,
yeah, I remember.
Give me that movie. I would definitely be on board for that.
Yeah, see, I'd be more interested in that than another Kill Bill movie.
I can understand that. I'd like a backstory movie on Oren Ishii. Give me Lucy Liu and let me see everything that led up to her, not just the short clip of what she had to endure and kill that boss to become who she was, but I want to know her whole story. I would like a whole story on everybody. I enjoy those characters so much.
Now, Tarantino has said that he's going to retire after doing 10 movies.
10 more?
No, 10 total.
10 total. Okay.
Supposedly he said that back in 2014.
Well, he's almost at 10 now.
I think, did he direct all 10 of these? Let me see. 1, 2,
so
3.
He's directed.
He's at 10, unless maybe he's counting Kill Bill as one.
Well, it was actually one movie.
Right.
It was written as one movie. But they made him break it up because it was going to be too long, and they didn't think that people would actually sit through the whole thing.
Right.
I would have gladly sat through the whole fucking thing. I'm going to tell you that I watched Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, maybe right at the beginning of quarantine.
Right.
Fucking loved it.
I did too. I enjoyed it.
Again, it was a little different but also pretty similar to his movie. You could tell it was a Tarantino movie, but he definitely went a little different direction with it in some ways. There were still twists. It was still fucking wild at some point where you're just like, holy shit, I can't believe all this stuff is happening right now. But I enjoyed the twist on the Charles Manson, the tape murder.
Oh yeah.
Situation. I thought the movie was really well done. I loved the fight scene where Bruce Lee gets his ass kicked. Are you kidding me? Like,
Yeah, that
you
was
needed to
pretty
rewrite
cool.
that so that Bruce got his ass kicked? Come on. But I enjoyed that movie. The only, people are going to think that I'm crazy, but the only movie that I did not love was Django Unchained. I thought that was almost a waste. Like, my problem with it, he reused so many of his other tropes through that movie that I was like, I'm just watching him parody himself, and it's not I'm not enjoying it. The best part of that movie was Christopher Waltz, which he was also one of the best parts of Inglourious Bastards.
Yes.
Like, those two characters he played are almost unmatched in the Tarantino scope.
Yeah, I agree. I think the problem with Tarantino in general, I like his stuff, but I find a lot of it is too long.
Well, yeah, I mean, it gets really long.
And and you could probably trim it, because Django was one of those. It's like, you know what? If he trimmed it a bit and got rid of some of those same tropes like you're talking about, probably would be a much better movie.
He definitely gave us the Crazy 88s a second time when Django was in the house and they were all running into the house. And I was like, I've seen this scene before. I don't need to watch this again. Right. Stop it. If I want to watch this, I'll watch Kill Bill. Give me something new.
Yeah, I don't, I think he could have made it shorter and cut out a lot of that crap. But whatever. I mean, I still enjoy a lot of his movies.
If he put out a movie tomorrow, I would be like, all right, I need to go to the theater and sit alone to watch this. Yeah. And just, it's a good way to lose 2 hours of my life to something that I won't be too upset about.
I don't know about the Star Trek thing, though.
Okay. If he was doing a Star Trek movie, I don't even like Star Trek to begin with, so I wouldn't go. I know that you are a sci-fi fan, and I would assume that Star Trek is high on your list of things that you enjoy.
I do enjoy Star Trek. A lot of people have this idea that you have to be either a Star Trek guy or a Star Wars guy. I enjoy both of them. Obviously, I'm much more of a Star Wars fan, but I do enjoy Star Trek. I just think, talking about Tarantino and his tropes and things like that, and also the fact that he likes to use the same actors a lot.
Over and over and over again.
I would be scared, but kind of curious to see how the hell he would pull that off with Star Trek. But I'm not curious enough to go nuts about it. Like, I have a feeling that it would be such a style clash. Because Star Trek... I mean... Okay, in the recent Star Trek movies, there was maybe a little bit of cursing, but that was never really a thing. So that would just be, that alone would be odd. But just in general, I have a lot of trouble seeing his style mash up with... It
doesn't seem like it would work.
Yeah, and I don't know, maybe we could all be proven wrong. Listen, I've seen it go both ways. I've seen it, Michael Keaton was just a comedy actor and then he played Batman.
You know what? Michael Keaton as Batman is fucking Batman.
All right.
There is no other Batman to me. No offense. No offense to the original Batman from back in the late 60s, early 70s. Like Adam West. Yeah. You know what? I enjoyed that Batman, but that was kitschy bullshit. That was literally true comic book adaptation.
Yeah,
with the
totally.
Cows, Biffs, and whatever. Michael Keaton is Batman. There is no other Batman. Everybody else is faking the funk. So I'm looking up this list of Tarantino collaborators, and Sam Jackson is in 6 fucking movies, and Michael Madsen is in 4, and then there are a couple people that are also in 4, but they're not as high profile, like James Parks and Michael Parks. I don't actually know them outside of the movies. And then Zoe Bell is in 3 movies. She was in Death Proof, Django, and Hateful Eight. And then Harvey Keitel's in 3 movies, Tim Roth's in 3 movies, and Uma Thurman's in 3 movies. So, you know, he likes to reuse a lot of the same people. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. It's one of the things he's known for, but, like, you know, it would just be pretty freaking strange to see some of these people, you know, like
suddenly in a
Harvey Keitel's going to suddenly pop up on the Enterprise.
No way.
But I don't, you know, looking it up, the last thing that was said about it was actually January of this year. Tarantino said the film might be made off of his script, but that he would not direct it.
Even on his script, I don't want that. I mean, I wouldn't watch it anyway, but it just seems wrong.
Yeah, I don't know.
What do I know? What the fuck do I know?
Or I don't even think he pitched the script. I think he just pitched like a general idea, like a treatment. So, who knows? But
Star Trek in downtown LA.
I mean, they did do one movie where they were in San Francisco in modern day, where they traveled back in time. But I don't think anybody wants to see that again. No. That was not a well-liked Star Trek movie.
Oh man!
But who knows? Tarantino just seems like such an odd mix. I can't really see it working.
Yeah, it just doesn't seem like a good combination.
And
hopefully it's dead in the water so that I don't even have to hear about it again.
He's also made comments that he would like to do just a sci-fi movie in general, and I don't really know how well that would work.
Well, I mean, his sci-fi-ish movie just turned into From Dusk Till Dawn, which it's a fun fucking movie. Like, I enjoy that movie, but it's literally just a Tarantino movie.
Right.
So, unless he's going to break his style and just do a straightforward movie, it's not going to work. And it'll be dumb.
Who knows?
Oh, man. I didn't think we were going to get 3 hours in tonight, bud.
Yeah, we always think that.
And then just yap.
Yep, that's usually how it works. That's the way this game is played.
Well,
it's like, maybe we'll do a short episode.
Yeah. Well, you know, we'll keep it short.
On.
You know what? I just like talking to you, bud. That's really all it comes down to.
I mean, we always got a lot to talk about.
I'm trying to write you a love letter, like a Trump-esque love letter.
Whoa.
What, 2 men can't send each other a love letter?
Homie, don't play. Sorry,
look in your mail. Look in your mailbox tomorrow.
Yeah, homie, don't play that. Oh my god,
that was one of the greatest characters of all time.
Absolutely.
Homie, don't play that.
You want to come back? Bring that dude back.
Homie the clown.
Bring Homie the clown back. I'd pay to see that. Fantastic.
That was a time. That was a time.
Yo, if you're listening to this and you don't know what we're talking about with Homie the Clown, get your ass on YouTube.
And just type in Homie the Clown.
Just type in Homie the Clown, and you can thank me later. Just trust me, it's worth it.
It's overboard. Damn.
Oh, the good old days. The good shit you can't get away with now.
No, not at all.
No. Well, like you were talking about Spaceballs.
Oh, you can't do Spaceballs now.
Can't do Spaceballs, but you definitely can't do Blazing Saddles now.
No. My favorite line in Spaceballs is the combing the desert. And they're first comb, no, we haven't found anything, sir. And the next comb, yeah, we haven't found anything either, sir. And they get to the 2 black dudes with the pick. We ain't found shit.
Can I tell you a really fucked up story about that? I'm going to crack you up. This is a really fucked up story. they announced they were doing another 3 Star Wars movies.
Right.
And the very first trailer for The Force Awakens has the Lucasfilm logo and then the slide from black, and then it just shows the desert. Mm-hmm. And then Finn, John Boyega, the black dude, his head just pops up and looks, and me and my girlfriend at the time, same time, we were both like, we ain't found shit. And we were in tears for like 10 minutes. I had to stop the damn thing. We were watching it. I'm like, oh my God, I can't even watch this right now.
Oh, God.
It's so ridiculous.
It's one of the greatest lines of all time.
Oh my God.
Delivered perfectly.
Oh, we couldn't help it. It was just desert. Black dude's head pops up. We ain't found shit.
Oh God. Mel Brooks is a king of comedy.
Yeah. Like, don't you think somebody at Lucasfilm would have thought about that?
No.
Maybe cut this trailer a little differently.
No. Because I guarantee you most of them haven't even seen Spaceballs.
Yeah, that could be true. It could be true. You're all fired.
Dude.
You're all fired. We need to get people in here with some knowledge.
When will then be now? Soon.
Oh, Pizza the Hut.
Yeah, Pizza Hut is great.
Oh my God.
They've gone plaid.
This is one of the greatest movies of all time.
I am ordering you. Stop this thing.
Oh shit. It was so good. Oh man.
That and only one man would give me the raspberries. Lone Star.
Oh,
yo,
man.
His tie is just a dick and balls. And obviously his helmet is a dick's helmet.
Oh my God.
The whole movie is just insane. She's gone from suck to blow.
And now that I'm thinking about it,
funny, she doesn't look Jewish.
There was always talk about
a Spaceballs,
a sequel.
Yeah, there should be no sequel to that movie. There's no need for a sequel to that movie.
Mel Brooks started talking about it 5 years ago.
There should be no. Mel Brooks needs to chill. There should be no sequel to that movie.
Well,
I'm a monk. I'm half man, half dog. I'm my own best friend.
Give me paw. You know what's funny though? It would tie in perfectly because they reference the fact that it would be called Spaceballs 2: The Search for More Money.
Yeah.
So they would just totally play it up as the money grab that it is, with no shame whatsoever, which would make it pretty enjoyable. We're not even trying.
Another one of my favorites is anytime I have to give somebody like a simple password, and I'm like, it's the kind of password an asshole would have on their luggage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What kind of password is that?
That's quickly jumped to the top of my list for quarantine viewing.
Things to rewatch.
It's been a while, so I think it's time to watch it again.
Dude, I watch it anytime I see it like scrolling on cable. It doesn't matter if there's 10 minutes left in the movie or it's just starting. I'm 100% in. It's a Winnebago.
Oh man. Yeah, that's I'm gonna have to go back and watch that. It must happen.
And what the fuck happened to Daphne Zuniga? Like, she just straight disappeared after 2 movies.
She did
Melrose Place, and then that was it.
Yeah, she did that and like maybe 1 or 2 other things, and then I think, and I could be totally wrong, I'm looking it up, but I feel like maybe she has some health shit.
Oh, really? Well, hopefully she's okay.
Oh no, it wasn't anything serious, but no, she she did like a handful of things in the '90s and then was gone for years.
I'm gonna give her old nose back.
Yeah, and then she's done some other random things recently. She was like on an episode of NCIS and one or two other things.
And it's just, some people act in some stuff and it's so enjoyable, and then they just straight tip. Like Rick Moranis just re-showed up in a fucking commercial out of nowhere, and like he had said that the only reason he would ever come back would be to do another Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. And like he is apparently signed on to do whatever the next update to that series is.
Yeah. Well,
but he hasn't really acted in anything.
Yeah, but he's got a valid reason.
What's his reason?
His wife passed, if I remember right.
Gave up.
And he had to raise the kids. They had a couple of kids.
I see.
So it's kind of fucked up situation.
Yeah, that is kind of a fucked up situation.
Yeah, they had two kids in '86. They got married in '86. They had two kids, and then she died of cancer in '91.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, so they were two very young kids.
That's rough.
And then that was when he left public life to become a full-time father.
Well, I think he acted until '97, though, didn't he?
He did a few things here and there, it seems.
Mostly Honey, I Shrunk the Kids shit.
Yeah, that and like the Flintstones and some other random stuff, and he did some voiceover stuff. but yeah, he never really jumped fully back into it.
Hey, I loved Rick Moranis in a number of situations. So, he did the most noble thing, which is step back and just be dad.
Yeah, I mean, under those circumstances, it certainly can't hold it against the dude. The guy was on top.
I didn't know why he disappeared, because it wasn't like back then there wasn't the internet, so it wasn't easy to find those things out. He just disappeared, and it was like he was just gone, and you don't know why.
Yeah, he just slowly worked his way out of it while he was bringing up the kids. But yeah, that's it's pretty crazy, but it's a very respectable thing.
Yeah. Hey, it was just fun to see him show back up on screen. I was like, oh, I remember him.
Yeah, another Beast Strange Brew.
That was a good movie. That was a good
classic
movie. Who my favorite actor from that whole time period is? It's John Candy.
I like John Candy. I wasn't his biggest fan, but I like him.
I felt like he could do anything that you pushed him towards. He was always funny, but also lovable at the same time. Like, his slapstick comedy didn't get him to the Chris Farley point where you're just like, I'm fucking annoyed by this guy now.
Oh, no. I can't stand Chris Farley.
He was physical enough for it to be slapstick-y without it being too, like, bullshit. Where you're just doing it for the laugh. You're actually acting to make me laugh. So you got, like, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is, like, for me, a classic with him and Steve.
Yeah.
And then if you want to go out on his own, you look at Delirious, the movie. It's so ridiculous. Like, it's so over the top, but it's hilarious. Or The Great Outdoors, him with Dan Aykroyd. Perfect movie. Him in Summer Vacation. Perfect movie.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, I don't know. He did a whole bunch of stuff. Uncle Buck. Uncle Buck is so good.
Yeah, that's another classic.
I love John Candy. I know he's not a perfect human being, and I would never purport that anybody is. But him as an actor on the screen doing things at that time in my life was what I needed to see.
Oh, yeah. Related to that, great thing to watch on Netflix if you have not already seen it. Let me just make sure I have the title right. The Movies That Made Us on Netflix.
Oh, I watched the whole damn thing.
Yeah, because the episode about Home Alone.
Oh yeah, where they showed how they built everything in that, like they built a whole fucking house.
Yeah, well, that and just the whole story of it, how it was with one studio.
And they kept bouncing, and
then they ended up working out the deal with the other studio behind their backs. Like that shit is just wild. That stuff I never knew about.
Yeah, of course. I mean, there's no reason we would know that.
Yeah, but I'm thinking of that because of the John Candy thing.
Well, the thing that blew me away was that they built a house inside of a sound studio, like a full house, with a basement and all.
Well, what's crazy is, it's crazy to see that, but they do that type of shit a lot.
It's just so weird.
It's just always insane when they do it.
Yeah.
Because, depending on the shots and stuff they need, they end up having to build the whole damn thing.
And then I'm like looking at it and I'm like, man, I really thought they were in somebody's house. Like, they're good at this.
Yeah. Well, a lot of the interiors and stuff, they do stuff like that. Because I've seen them do it for different movies. They actually did it. Here's an odd story for you. They filmed. Did you ever see I Am Legend with Will Smith?
Yeah.
They filmed parts of that in the Kingsbridge Armory in the Bronx.
Really?
They actually built the interior sets inside the armory. And I don't know the details of the sets themselves, but that armory is gigantic, and you could easily build a whole fucking house in there. I don't know exactly what they filmed in there, but they did spend a decent amount of time.
I Am Legend, I loved that movie the first time I watched it, but I have never brought myself to watch it in full again. Have you had multiple watchings of that movie, or did you just watch it once?
I think I may have watched it twice.
Like, I was blown away by the city scenes in New York.
Well, I saw them film some of that stuff.
Did they actually shut down the roads to shoot that shit?
They did, and they also filmed it at like crack of dawn.
Okay, when there was basically nobody out there anyway.
When they needed the streets, they filmed it early, because I caught what was the tail end of filming. I used to go up and down. I used to go down Fifth Avenue every morning to go to work on the express bus.
Right.
And one morning we're going, and I see on the street, like, there's a bunch of random garbage around, and like tree limbs and shit, or like just random plants. And I'm like, this is weird, because it's Fifth Avenue, it's always clean. So I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? And we're sitting in traffic going slow. And I look and I see more of it, and I'm like, what the fuck? And then I look on the other side, the front of St. Patrick's Cathedral, one side of the front door is covered in blue screen.
Blue screen, okay.
And I look, and there's Will Smith standing there chilling, talking to somebody.
And you're like,
and I had already heard that he was filming I Am Legend, because I Am Legend is based on a book. And that version with Will Smith is the third time that they've made a movie out of it.
Okay.
The first one had, I believe, Vincent Price, but I could be wrong. The second one was actually called The Omega Man with Charlton Heston.
Okay, I know that one. Well, I didn't watch it, but I know it.
And then the Will Smith one was the third one. So I knew all about it. The Charlton Heston one is set in L.A. and not New York. But I had heard about it, and then I saw them, and I knew what they were filming, and I was like, oh, shit. And then I had heard about them doing the stuff in the Kingsbridge Armory. They also did, at the beginning, when they had all the stuff happening with the Brooklyn Bridge and, like, the explosions and stuff, they had put out alerts around the city that they were going to be doing that filming so that people wouldn't freak out.
That something was actually happening.
Yeah, because they were filming it, like, during the day.
Right.
And what's really funny is that I read a story about there was a voiceover studio down in that area by the Brooklyn Bridge, and they were doing. There's a kids' cartoon show called The Wonder Pets.
Okay, heard of it.
They were doing voiceovers, and they had to stop because of the explosions. It was leaking into the microphones, which is really fucking funny. But you know, crazy. random stupid trivia about that shit. But yeah, they filmed a lot of that around New York. They just, used the special effects to edit out what they had to edit out. And they did a lot of the filming at the crack of dawn, so they didn't have a lot to edit out.
The only time I was around any sets was when they were filming A Beautiful Mind in Princeton. Like, I was constantly in Princeton at the time, so I had to avoid like certain areas because it was shut down for shooting that. And then outside of they shot the fight scenes for Creed 1, the boxing scenes in the Electric Factory.
Oh, no kidding.
So they set that up as if it was like a small arena, but it's really just the Electric Factory.
No shit. I didn't know that. I've seen over the years, because I always, for the most part, most of my life I worked in Manhattan, so I used to pass by and see a lot of filming shit. And then I would see when they filmed Die Hard with Bruce Willis. I saw them filming some of that. The one with Sam Jackson. You're muted.
I don't know how that happened. I got it.
Nice.
Yeah, I didn't realize that. I would assume that it was Die Hard 3.
Yeah, they like I saw like they had a mechanical half cab.
Okay.
So that was kind of crazy to see. So I saw them film that and like seen them film different stuff around, like shots of Boardwalk Empire, all kinds of other stuff.
That's
I was actually. What's that?
That's a show I couldn't get into.
Really?
Everybody tells me I'm crazy, but I tried Boardwalk Empire, and I guess it was 10 years ago because it was right around the time, like this time of the year, right before I bought my house, and it'll be 10 years in December. So it was like right around now that I was trying to watch the show, and I didn't have it in me at the time. I should probably go back and try and watch it now, because I don't think it'll be any less important. Like, it's not tied to a time frame. Whereas I feel like Sopranos, if you didn't watch it when it came out, it's like it was tied to that time frame. And like everything, I don't know, when I watch it now, I'm like, okay, you don't have cell phones, you don't have this, you don't have that. Like, it feels dated. Kind of like watching The Wire feels a little dated because everything's on, dial-up phones and beepers, etc. Not that the story isn't important and like it's good, but if you were going to watch Boardwalk Empire, it's set so far in the past that you can detach yourself from it because it's set then. It's not quote unquote modern.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed The Sopranos too. I didn't watch The Sopranos until the last season, and then I just binged the whole thing.
Right. I watched it the whole way through. I was one of those kids that had it had the VCR set up for every Sunday at 9. It would just turn on and record it. So even if I wasn't home, I would, catch it that week and then watch it.
VCRs.
VCR. I'm old, people. Like, it's my whole ass. Like, I'm old enough that I know why you would have a pencil and a cassette tape and you do. I know what a fucking 8-track is because I was around when they were still selling them. Okay? So yes, a VCR. Hell, I was around when they released the VCR, like the actual true VCR that people could afford to have in their house. And my mom bought one, and I thought it was the coolest fucking thing. And then every Friday night was go to fucking West Coast Video or Blockbuster or whatever, and rent some garbage ass videotape Yet somebody else had fucking shitty fingers all over, and then, you know, you're transferring COVID and you didn't even know it.
Block. Well, all right, so let me ask you this question, and then maybe this will take it home since we're approaching 4 hours at this point. All right, so you watched The Sopranos.
Yeah.
What's your take on the ending?
Oh, Tony got shot. It's fine. Like, anybody that thinks it's anything different than that doesn't understand the premise of the show. The show ends with Tony ending. The show is about Tony in every single way. So if it went to black, he either had a heart attack and died on the spot, or he was shot. There is no other ending. Tony died, and then the show dies because there is no other show without him.
I'm glad you see things my way.
Like, what other way is there to see it? I know that there are theories and people are fucking nuts.
I'll tell you what I hate. What I hate is that the creator of the show at first was like, didn't want to say. And then he turned around and said that Tony didn't die, which really pissed me off because that's the logical conclusion.
Right.
So, like, first you didn't want to say anything. Now you say something and you're fucking it up. So why don't you just shut the fuck up?
Yeah, just leave it alone.
If you weren't going to say anything, don't say anything. Leave it up for interpretation. But the interpretation to me, I don't see it any other way, just like you, is that when it goes and it hits black, lights out. That's it.
Game's up.
Yeah.
So
and it was going to happen eventually.
It had to.
That's what happens when you're in that life.
Yep. When the Reaper comes, it's time.
Yeah. So the end.
Rest in peace, James Gandolfini. The only way they could have resurrected that, they would have needed to have him to tell the story of what happened if they wanted to go back on him not being dead. But they cannot tell that story, so why don't you just tell us all, yeah, you're right, he died. Like, just be like, whatever, it doesn't even matter at this point. There is no suspense. When did that show end? 2004? It's been 15 years.
Right. It just, I thought it was silly that he went back, like,
that he doubled back on himself.
You don't want to say anything and you want to leave it up for interpretation, that's fine. But then to go back on it and then screw it up. It's like,
you ride that horse into the fucking sun.
Like, as a creator, I think that was just such a shitty thing to do. Should have fucking left it alone.
I mean, I love that show at the time. I don't dislike it, but everybody keeps it, like, in there. It's like the greatest show of all time, and I feel like a lot of people that say that it's the greatest show of all time are really just saying, they're mainly people who want to be in that life, and that's their hat to hang it on. I wouldn't keep it out of my top 10. It's definitely in my top 10 of all shows because the storytelling, the writing, the acting, everything about it was really good. Same with The Wire. I didn't love season 2 of The Wire, and season 5 of The Wire was but season 1, 3, and 4 are pure gold. And once you've seen 3 and 4, it makes 2 much better, at least in my opinion.
Crazy admission, I have never watched The Wire.
That's fine. I'm just telling you straight out that if you were to start watching it, you would probably love season 1. Season 2 is so different from season 1 that you'd be like, what the fuck am I even watching right now? And then you watch season 3 and 4, and it ties all the seasons together. Right. So then when you get to season 5, it's like, wait, how did we get here? And honestly, season 5 just felt like a throwaway season. That's how I felt about Weeds. Did you ever watch Weeds?
I've watched a few episodes. I never watched...
I watched it straight through.
maybe 3 to 4 episodes I've watched. That's it.
I mean, it's a BS show. Like, it's not believable in any way that it's real.
Yeah.
But it's fun to watch. But then you get to the last season, and they cover 9 years in 9 episodes. I don't. You can't do that.
Yeah, that's kind of silly.
You're just trying to wrap the show up without actually like taking into account how you should have just wrapped it up all. Just don't make me skip years like that. It just doesn't work.
Yeah. And just to go back for a second, the one thing I will say about The Sopranos is I haven't watched it again, and I'm sure in a lot of ways it won't hold up time-wise, because I recently watched Oz from beginning to end.
Oh God, it's such a slog. I didn't like that show.
At points, overall, it was good, but there were definitely points where it just kind of felt really silly. But what I will say about The Sopranos that a lot of people don't realize is that it holds a very important place in TV history, because before that point, nobody had done anything like that. Now it's common.
Yep.
Now it's totally common. There's hundreds of shows that are in that mold, but back then they were the groundbreakers.
Absolutely. And I would never take that away from them.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not talking shit on the show by any stretch. I'm just saying, like, when I watch it, it feels a little dated. That's it. But the concept and the show itself is still great.
Yeah. It may not hold up just time-wise, because a lot of times that's what happens, especially nowadays as things change so rapidly.
Yeah.
But, for its time, it was really groundbreaking.
So, for me, my top 5, and not that we're trying to get into a top 5, but top 5 TV shows of all time. Number 1 is the combination right now of Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, because it is one big story. And while I will say that I enjoy Better Call Saul more than I enjoy Breaking Bad, I think what I enjoy most about it is that it's tying up all the loose ends that I didn't quite understand how they got there in Breaking Bad. So it's just like all the backstory and character development I needed to understand those characters that are playing a tertiary but important piece in Breaking Bad. So the Salamancas, Saul himself. How did he get to be Saul? Because his name is fucking Jimmy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's a whole bunch of things. And then, Mike Ehrmantraut. How did he get to be this revered, like, henchman that can get almost anything done? And everybody's scared of him. Like, I'm, like, looking at him like, how? I don't get it. And Gus Fring. Like, you don't see Gus Fring doing, like, real dirt in Breaking Bad. He's just got people, but watching Better Call Saul, and you're like, oh shit, I am not fucking with Gus Fring, because
you see him putting that work in. Right.
So it's like, it's giving me all that information. Secondarily, The Wire, which we've already beaten with a stick. Sopranos is in my top 5. Arrested Development is in my top 5. And Ozark.
Ozark is really good.
And it's funny, Ozark and Arrested Development star the same person in 2 very different roles. Jason Bateman.
Yeah.
So, he spans that. He, again, another one that spans almost my whole lifetime of watching TV. He was on Silver Spoons.
Yep.
And I've been watching this kid since I was a kid, and I'm still interested in what he's doing.
Yeah.
So, it's been interesting, to say the least.
Yeah, I would have to really sit down and think about it when it comes to TV.
Honorable mention, 24.
Yes, 24 was a definite classic. One thing that I could say off the top of my head is that I think the first season of Westworld
Didn't watch it. Was it good?
was the best thing that's been put on TV probably in 20 years, in my opinion. It's one of those rare cases where, because I don't like remakes and shit like that usually, with occasional exceptions, but it's one of those rare cases where the technology caught up and actually helps fit the story better. Because the original Westworld movie from the 70s, I was a fan of, but it was also very basic. You know, it was very Terminator. It's like you got this robot, and yeah, he's programmed to not harm the guests in the park, but then his programming goes off because of, you know, what was basically, you know, side note, one of the first references to a computer virus. Michael Crichton, who wrote that story, who was also one of my favorite authors, you know, did Jurassic Park, did Congo, did a lot of other stuff.
Can I admit that I hated Jurassic Park and I will not watch it or any other movie related to it? I just
Really?
I can't do it. Like, I went to the theater, and even as a kid, I was just like, nah, not buying it. You can kiss my ass. I'm out.
I mean, I wouldn't put it on my list of favorites, but it's not bad.
For me, it's on my list of favorites to hate, and
Wow.
I'm just not a fan at all.
Well, Michael Crichton was one of those guys that a lot of the stuff he wrote, you know, he was kind of a visionary in a way. He saw a lot of things because he was actually a doctor, and he wrote a lot of things that, you know, were early on, but, you know, obviously Westworld deals with artificial intelligence, just like Jurassic Park deals with cloning.
Right.
And these were things that were just coming into play in the scientific world. And he managed to take those things and spin stories out of them. So Westworld, the old one, was really just a robot gone haywire with, you know, a computer virus. The new Westworld is a much better story because it deals more with artificial intelligence and things like that. And the technology actually helps to create a better story.
Okay. Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. You know, so in that case, I am forgiving when it comes to my hatred of remakes because it was actually really well done and tells a really great story. And, you know, as a side funny little thing, there's a lot of references in there without explicitly stating one way or the other, but there's a lot of references that kind of point to the idea that it is actually a direct sequel to that original movie.
Okay.
Which is kind of funny.
I'll have to check it out then.
But yeah, I season 2 and season 3 are good, but not nearly
As
to
good
the
as
level of
first
season 1. Yeah. And it was a well done story, and it was one of those things where I really worried, is this going to be like Lost? Because Lost I enjoyed, and then at the end they just completely shit in my mouth.
See, I didn't like Lost. I watched 3 episodes and I was like, I'm out on this. I wasn't feeling that show at all. The show that I regret not watching more of was Homeland. I wanted to watch it. I wanted to love it, and I did enjoy it, but I just never set the DVR to record it, and I fell so far behind that I just never caught up.
Yeah. I never watched Homeland. That's one of those, everybody tells me I should watch it, and I probably will, depending on how much longer this quarantine goes.
Well, once I finish, I'm on season 4 of Better Call Saul right now, and I'm like on episode 7 or 8. So season 5 just finished, like in April. So I got to figure out how to watch it because it's not on Netflix yet. So I got to figure out how to download it from wherever, and then watch that, and then I'll be up to date. And then once I'm done with that, then maybe I'll watch Homeland. I'll just dig in and watch it. Because, like, I'm sitting at this desk in my basement. In front of me is the computer that I use that's like my regular personal computer that also does like home studio work.
Right.
Then I have my laptop to my left. And then to my left from there, I have oh crap, let me turn off this. I got a funky screen going with a screensaver, so it's not showing what I want it to show. You'll see I have a 40-inch TV to my left that I can watch whatever I want on. So I hit that with the Chromecast. So I can Chromecast from the computer onto that screen. So while I'm sitting here turned to my left to work on my work stuff, I can watch TV on the big screen, turn back here, and you know, do whatever else I got to do. I've got my own little system set up here to be hella comfortable while I'm working from home during this quarantine-ish period.
Quarantine is good for people catching up on their TV shit. That's for sure.
Because my office would be upset if I set up a TV in the corner of my desk and was like, "Yeah, I'm watching Netflix right now while I'm trying to get some work done."
Oh my god!
Kiss my whole ass.
And by the way, Better Call Saul is one of those, like what you were talking about. That like I started watching it and I got kind of behind on it and just never.
Yeah, I mean sometimes you just drop it.
I'll have to go and catch up.
So, all right. Things I need to actually catch up on. Homeland, Mandalorian. I need to watch Mandalorian. I watched 2 episodes of it, and I am in 100%, but I want to actually like devote a whole weekend and just watch the whole thing at once instead of piecemealing. I just want to take it all in.
That's a good move, because that is the best Star Wars product that has been released probably since 1983.
Okay.
Rogue One was really good.
I loved Rogue One. Loved it.
And a lot of people hated the Han Solo movie. I did not.
I didn't see it yet, so
I did enjoy it, but not nearly to the level of The Mandalorian.
What I want to find, and maybe you have it, or maybe you've downloaded it, all the Clone Wars episodes.
I don't have them, but what are you're downloading The Mandalorian?
No. I'll just watch it on Disney Plus.
The Clone Wars episodes should be on there.
They're not on there, at least not on my access on my phone. Maybe if I go online, I can search for it. But when I searched for Clone Wars on Disney Plus, they did not exist.
Really?
Yeah, because I got Disney Plus and ESPN as like a package deal with something else.
Yeah.
And like, if I go on here and I type in Clone Wars, literally, I type in the word clone, and these are the 2 things that show up.
That's odd, because I could swear.
And if I type in Star Wars, there's stuff on here like Legos Star Wars and Star Wars Rebels, but I can't find Clone Wars on here for shit.
That's odd, because I was reasonably sure that was definitely on Disney Plus.
And like, I can get the Star Wars Resistance.
I'm looking right now.
I would bet it's on here, and I'm just not looking in the right place. But I wanted to get a certain person started on Star Wars at the Clone Wars, because it's a cartoon. It's a little easier to palate.
It's on there, because I'm looking at it. Episodes seasons 1 to 7.
All right, so it's not on the fucking app. What kind of dumb shit is that?
That is weird. But yeah, I'm looking at it on my computer, and it's definitely there.
And I updated my app, so it's not like I them working with some jank old app. It's the newest one.
Well, here, if you go to the app, when you pull up the app, you should see they have like all their little franchises there. They have Disney, Pixar, Marvel, Star Wars, National Geographic.
It doesn't have that for me.
Really?
Yeah.
And you're on an iPhone?
Yeah.
That's weird.
100% weird. Let's see here.
That's bizarre. Because if you go to Star Wars, it's the first thing there. That is very strange.
Let me see. Star Wars. Okay, so the Clone Wars, I'm going to tell you right now, if you have this and you're in a kids menu, you can't get to the Clone Wars. That's not included.
Really? That's weird.
It's apparently not for little kids per se. But for me, I feel like that's the best place for him to start, because it's not so human related in that, like, it's all digital cartoon.
Right. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. It's weird.
So now I know why I couldn't fucking find it.
There you go.
Man, this makes my whole life different, because I was looking at it from his profile the whole time, and I'm like, what? There's nothing on Disney Plus. Like, there's nothing for me to watch on here. But apparently there's a ton of shit on here for me to watch.
Well, there you go.
Well, glad we had this conversation, and I won't get myself.
Yeah, they don't put, they don't have any, like, R-rated shit on Disney Plus, but...
No, but there's still good movies on here.
But there's still plenty of other stuff. And there's all the Marvel movies are on there.
Yeah, I will tell you, I haven't watched even more than 2 of the Marvel movies, because I'm just not really that deep in the comic books. Yeah. So I'm not, like, tied to any of these characters. I have never seen Black Panther, and I know that as a black man I should have seen Black Panther, but I just never got to it. But maybe I will now that I have access to it.
Just for the historicals, you should.
Yeah, I mean, I need to just watch it.
Yeah,
but
I mean, it is.
As you see, I've got this fine 40-inch TV to my left. I can cast anything I'd like.
Got that, and you got the most important thing, which is
time.
Some fucking time.
Yeah. Holy shit. Why did we talk for 4 hours today?
I don't fucking know. Because we got nothing fucking better to do. Oh, Jesus. And we didn't even talk about Lovecraft Country.
Nope. That's a whole nother...
Yeah,
that's a whole nother...
That's another couple of hours.
Yep.
Oof.
Hey, I am going to be prepared with notes on every single episode, because I'm gonna rewatch the whole season one more time before we have this talk.
Oh,
because there's just so much going on.
There really is, and it's also based on a novel.
Yeah, but I refuse to read a Lovecraft novel because he was such a racist, and that's one of the reasons why I'm loving this show.
Well, no, it's not a Lovecraft novel. He didn't write.
He didn't. Okay.
But it's all,
it's all based on his
tied into his mythology and stuff. Yep. I don't really know much about it. I just was aware that it was based on a novel.
Okay. I thought it was an adaptation of just Lovecraft-ish stories.
No, that's really what it is. It's a lot of, it's a story that winds around a lot of Lovecraft tropes. A lot of the stuff that you see on the show comes from different pieces of his writing.
Right.
And they've just adapted it into a bigger, longer story.
But what I'm saying is, I know that Lovecraft was racist, and I'm loving the direction that they went with this fucking show.
It's like, oh, you're racist, so we're just going to take your shit and turn it into a black story.
Yep.
So make sure you turn it over in your grave, fucker.
Suck all our dicks.
Oh, man. All right, so we done here.
Yeah, let's wrap it up, bud.
We've covered enough ground here.
Yeah.
Plenty to think about and enjoy, and more for us to talk about next week.
Let's do it.
So that's it. This is The Upgrade. Len Carmichael over there.
You.
And Gary Muttley over here. And theupgradepodcast.net is your place to go if you want to find links to tell your friends to listen to us, or social media to talk to us, or whatever. Tell us we talk too much, which we really don't give a shit. We'll keep talking. And we will talk about Donald Trump and Lovecraft Country and whatever the fuck else we want to talk about. Because it's our show. God damn it.
What we want around here.
You don't like what we're talking about? Go get your own show.
Yo, take care, everybody.
Goodbye, guys. Have fun. We will talk to you again soon. Peace.
Yo, so do a closeout for the political portion of this show as well, because I will chop that in.
Chop it up.
Because this is too long.
2 shows.
This is 2 shows.
I was thinking about it. I was like, yeah, we could do 2 shows. And I think we did enough that we can
definitely chop this into 2
content.
shows.
It'll work.
Yeah.
Well, in that case, then I should change it again, because I shouldn't mention Donald Trump. Fuck.
Whatever. Give me 2.
All right, we're done. That's it. Fuck Donald Trump. Fuck everything orange. Or something. I don't know. It's late and we're fucking bugging out. Quarantine brain is finally making us crazy.
Dude, mine is so bad.
But yeah, we will talk to you again soon after we catch up on more Netflix and quarantine, which is the new favorite thing. He is Len Carmichael. I am Gary Muttley. And thanks for listening to The Upgrade, theupgradepodcast.net for all the links and fun stuff. And we will see you soon. Later.
Peace.